So good morning, everyone. I welcome you to our monthly ISACA Innovation and Tech Talk online event. It is October, and October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month. So, of course, we have chosen a cybersecurity topic for this month's event. And just about the presenters today. So my name is Matthias Kraft. I work for Fidelity International. I'm also at the board of directors for ISACA Germany. I'm also still an active member of the Innovation and Tech Talk working group, which is organizing these events. And I'm very pleased today that this event has been organized by our ISACA Young Professionals working group, namely Somaye Hoseinpour, who is here with me to help me with the co-moderation and to talk a little bit about the young professionals. And we have also Ahmed Magdi here, who is a cybersecurity senior consultant and is also part of the young professional working group. So please welcome both of them with me here. And before I hand over to the two of them, Ahmed, if you move me to the next slide, we can just talk about the logistics for the next coming hour.
Sure.
Thank you. So this event is being recorded and will be made available to you with the handout of the slides on our website, isaca.de. Bear with us for a couple of weeks. As you know, we have the ISACA Germany GSE Congress coming up, so all the preparations are going, and it might take a few more days to get it online on the website. A CPE certificate for attending this event will be sent to you 2 weeks after the event on the email address that you have provided when you registered to the event. If you do have questions today on the presentation, please contact me via the chat function and please choose a presenter or moderator so I can see the questions and then we can get into the Q&A session at the end. If there are any feedback, questions, or anything that you want to share, please email us to our group mailbox, which is fg-innovation@isaca.de. And also just an outlook for what's coming in November. The next meeting, the next Tech Talk meeting will be on the 30th of November, and the topic will be software lifecycle meets access management. It's actually the 23rd of November. But as part of the monthly ISACA newsletter, you'll get the date and the link for registration made available to you. And also in our own interest, also highlighting our podcasts that are available under isaca.de/podcasts. Now handing over to you, Somaye.
Thank you, Matthias. Ahmed, can you please move on to the next slide? So hello, everyone, and welcome to today's Tech Talk. My name is Somaye Hoseinpour. I'm last year's ISACA One in Tech Scholarship recipient, and I'm also a member of Young Professional Working Group. Our group mainly composed of members, young members, less than 38 years old. We aim at sharing expertise and discussing current subject within big ISACA topics. And as part of our activities, we also support the chapter's public relationship activities and also organize some events. As for events this month, which is European Cybersecurity Month, we have organized some activities which you probably have seen on our ISACA Germany chapter LinkedIn page, some post which is organized by our members at Young Professional Group. As for today's Tech Talk, which also part of the activities for European Cybersecurity Month, and organized by our group, which our colleague Ahmed will present the topic. So thank you again for joining with us today, and I hand over the topic to Ahmed.
Thank you, Somaye. Thank you, Matthias. Hello, everyone. So for our Cybersecurity Month here, we chose an interesting topic. I hope this topic, you have some sort of interest in this one. So we'll start by setting the scene about cyber crisis, why we should have some sort of cyber crisis readiness. We'll start by setting the scene about the threat landscape right now, and then we'll go through some operational resilience. What does exactly mean operational resilience? Then we'll move to about what's the crisis and what are the different priorities for any organization or a business during management of a crisis. Then we need to know what if we are supposed to be ready to manage such crisis. So we need to know what are the cyber crisis exercise objectives. And then we'll have some example related to it and what success looks like and what are the different pitfalls related to organizing cyber crisis exercises. So mainly the current situation, as you see right now globally, especially in Europe right now with the Russian and Ukraine war and the global geopolitical tension we have, either it's in Europe specifically or globally, this means the threat landscape around us is always evolving. So as an organizations are always impacted by this, either from internal or external factors like new threats, maybe new threat actors, new threat groups, new targeted attacks. According to Checkpoint research, that there is already 38% average weekly cyber attack organizations and increase in 2022. I'm expecting in 2023 the results will be much more due to this geopolitical situation we have right now and tension we have. There was a study done by IBM related to the cost of data breach. The average cost of data breach is for almost $4.5 million. This is the average for a data breach. Mainly, we're trying somehow all of our controls and investments we are making in protecting our data is mainly about protecting the information assets. And the main information asset we have is mainly our data. So this is the average total cost in case we have a data breach. So what does it mean, operational resilience? Operational resilience, this is mainly about maintaining the existence of the organization in case we are facing some sort of cyber crisis in general. It can be cyber-related crisis or non-cyber-related. But our focus here mainly is about cyber-related crisis. It can be something like ransomware attack. It can be distributed denial of service attack. It can be major data breach we have in our organization. There are different incidents which might escalate to be a crisis. So the point is, well, we need to build our capabilities as an organization, how to be resilient in terms of business. At the end, all of the information systems we have in our organization is mainly to support the business to achieve a specific business goal or a specific business objective. So these information systems, with the help of security, we're trying to be some sort of business enabler, supporting the business. So we need to be ready in case we have some sort of incident, and this incident escalated to be a crisis. We need to be ready. Ready in terms of people, process, technologies. We're ready to respond. We're ready to recover within agreed RTOs or RPOs, mainly agreed values, the timeline set by the management and the business owners. In case we have a crisis, we need to recover within this specific timeline. Otherwise, if we didn't manage to recover within this agreed or defined timelines defined by the top management, we might jeopardize the existence of the organizations. So we need to make sure that we have already incident response capabilities in place. We have business continuity plans. We have disaster recovery plans, and we need to test it to make sure it's actually working. This is mainly the idea from having cyber readiness exercises. What does it mean, a crisis? So in case we have a crisis, what does it mean? What is the main difference in terms of talking about incident? Incident is mainly something, the magnitude or the impact, the magnitude of impact related to the incident is somehow manageable. We are able to recover. We have some sort of predefined playbox in place. We can recover from any incident. If we follow these playbooks, we can contain the damage. We can recover as soon as possible or within a timely manner in order to restore business as usual again. But crisis, this is mainly a major disruption. An incident can escalate to be a crisis if there is a major impact on some of our organizational objectives. The organization or the business is not able to achieve a specific goal or a specific business process is hugely impacted, then we have a crisis. In this case, we always need someone in the organization with authority, with a clear criteria between what's the definition of a crisis, what is the difference between incident and the crisis, and who had the authority and power to declare we have a crisis and we need to activate our incident business continuity plan and disaster recovery plans. Otherwise, we'll stick with incident and the incident response capabilities we have in our organization. During a crisis, once we have such a major disruptions to operations, what are the different priorities from business point of view? So we're supposed to focus mainly, number one priority should be people safety. We need to save lives and ensure people safety. This is supposed to be number one priority for any business. Then we'll talk about containing the damage and maintaining the minimizing this damage. If there is any potential harm, potential damage is happening, we need to contain it. Like if there's a normal accident in the street or something like this, someone is bleeding right now. We need to stop the bleeding. This is number one priority. And then we can focus on the other recovery options, what exactly happened, what was the root cause, how can we recover from it, and then we can lessons learned, how can we improve our controls in the future. But the number one priority after people safety is supposed to be containing the damage, containing the harm, and then to return to normal operations and back to business as usual as soon as possible within predefined time slot. During this crisis, we are running something called crisis mode. This is not business as usual. So we're not expecting the organization to have the same level of service and all systems are available during such a crisis mode. That's why we need to get ready for such a crisis. In the coming slides, we'll talk about what exactly are the different activities we're supposed to do in order to prepare ourselves for such crisis and to manage it and to be able to navigate the organization through such storm in order to make sure that we are protecting the organization's interest in terms of reputation, in terms of achieving its goals and objectives. So what kind of activities shall we do in order to prepare ourselves for this? So this is a continuous process. So the business or any organization, it's always dynamic. So there is always internal factors we need to consider or external factors. Internal factors, as an organization, every single day we are making changes. Maybe you are adopting new technologies. Like right now, a lot of organizations are considering how can we apply AI, artificial intelligence right now in different use cases according to the industry. How can we utilize this? How can we benefit from this one? So maybe adopting new technology, this will pose some new risks to the organization. Maybe decommissioning or replacing some sort of legacy or old technologies. This is another thing. Major change related to the architecture of the organization. This is another internal major change we need to consider. External changes is happening as well, like new threats, new vulnerabilities, new attack vectors we need to consider as an organization. So that's why it's always continuous process. We need always to review our business impact analysis, business continuity plans, disaster recovery plans, risk assessment, and incident response plans. Mainly in order to prepare ourselves. So how can we build our business continuity and disaster recovery plans? I need to know exactly what the business is expecting from us during a crisis mode. So what are the priorities related to the business? Are we supposed to restore all applications during crisis mode? What is the level of service? Which application or system or business process supposed to be restored first? How can we determine this? We need to start with having business impact analysis or business impact assessment. This business impact analysis exercise, this is the main input or the main stakeholder will be mainly the business owners or the process owners, mainly business process owners. They will have the main input related to this. As an organization, these are the different information assets or different business processes we have. And this is from our side. Let's say in case we have a specific risk scenario, let's say, in case we have a ransomware attack, distributed denial of service attack, or something, there might be something like, let's say, something major, like maybe global internet outage or something. So in case of this, what exactly are our priorities? We need to define from this business impact analysis, mainly, what is the criticality of each information assets, and what is the sensitivity, and what the business owner are considered the maximum tolerable outage or downtime. Criticality, this is mainly linked to the availability. It's always based on the availability. We'll define different criticality levels, and this is mainly linked to the availability. always for any information assets, we are more concerned about CIA triad, confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So criticality will focus on the availability of services. For sensitivity will focus mainly on the integrity and the confidentiality of the information. So this is something the business owners, it's not a technical requirement, it's more from business side. They know exactly the value of this information assets, the value of this data we have, the value of system, how this system is helping the organization to achieve its objectives or goals. So the business owners deal with such information. And from their side, let's say we are a bank, ABC Bank, let's say. We have our online banking portal. For this online banking portal, how much downtime we as a business can afford? So maybe for an organization, 0 tolerance related to downtime. For other organizations, we can survive with 30 minutes downtime, 15 minutes downtime. So this is something the business will decide. But you need to highlight to the business in this case, when they decide or choose these values, there is always some cost implications based on this choice. If you are talking about something like RPO, recovery point objective, this is mainly about the data loss. We as a business, we have 0 tolerance for data loss because you are working in the financial sector. This means you need to highlight there will be, this is a higher cost in terms of our recovery strategy. So there is always an inverse relationship between the cost of a recovery and the values you choose related to RPO, recovery point objective, and the recovery time objective. Recovery point objective is concerned about the data loss, and the recovery time objective exactly is responsible about how long would it take us in order to recover and be recover from this crisis or this major disruption. Acceptable time from business point of view. This is a recovery time objective. So the smaller this value, we need to recover within, let's say, a couple of seconds. The smaller the value, the higher the cost of recovery. So there is always an inverse relationship. That's why we need to consider this, because based on these values, and the service delivery objective running in crisis mode, mainly you're not supposed to or not expected to have 100% availability for all services. So based on this, we'll define our backup strategy. So we need to consider the associated cost related to this one. The risk assessment will help us to identify the different risk scenarios we have. We maybe as an organization, we are working in the financial sector. Maybe you are more prone to a specific kind of threats or risk scenarios. This is the threat and this is the vulnerability which can be exploited by this threat actor. Maybe you are working on online retail, maybe in the medical sector. So it depends. The sector will play a role here. Some attackers or some groups are targeting specific sectors. So based on the industry. Based on this, we'll build our business continuity plans and disaster recovery plans. The business continuity plans are more concerned about the business from high-level business point of view. How can we maintain the business operation without jeopardizing the existence of our organization? Disaster recovery plans are more related to systems. So in order to achieve this business goal, let's say we have for our online banking system, this is a disaster recovery plan. How to recover in case we were hit by a ransomware attack, in case we're hit by a distributed denial of service attack. Step by step, how can we do this? How can we recover? So disaster recovery plans are more IT focused in this case. Who's supposed to do what? The steps need to be taken in order to do that. Another point we need to consider while we manage a crisis is the incident response plans and incident response capabilities we have in our organization. So mainly the incident response will work side by side by the business continuity and disaster recovery plans. So I need to make sure that I know exactly our capabilities in our organization. Normally, I will focus on people, process, technology. So I will perform some sort of gap analysis to know exactly in terms of people and their skills, where exactly do we stand right now? This is the current state right now, and this is the desired future skills we're supposed to have in our incident response team. Who's supposed to be a member in this one? Do we have defined rules and responsibilities? I'm expecting to have in this incident response team some full-time members, like security members, let's say security analysts, and there might be temp members as well. Maybe we need to have point of contact in legal. In case we have a data breach, maybe we need to notify legal. Maybe you need to have some point of contact in communications team or PR team or another point of contact in HR. So mainly we might need support during responding to either incident or crisis. We might need support from different teams or different departments inside the organizations besides the technical people, security or IT in general. So I need to know from people point of view, this is where do we stand. From technology point of view, this is exactly what we have, and this is the future state. These are the tools will help us to respond to such incident, either to prevent, detect, or to take some corrective actions. And from processes point of view, we have already incident response plan in place. Do we have playbooks? Do we have defined roles and responsibilities? Do we have communication plans? I need to assess my current maturity related to this one. So this is from getting readiness point of view. Of course, I'm not gonna wait for something to happen. I'm supposed to take some measures, preventive measures. So I'm not just waiting for the crisis to happen. I'm already investing in some preventive controls in order to prevent it from happening. Let's say for our ransomware attack, we're already implementing some preventive controls and detective controls in place. So in case these preventive controls failed for any reason, so we have our detective controls to detect there is a compromise, there is an incident, or this incident escalated to be a crisis, and we have some other administrative controls like business continuity plan and disaster recovery plans so that we can respond. So this is part of getting ready in order to prepare ourselves for such crisis. Okay, we built the plan, we have the team, we have the playbooks in place, we have the disaster recovery plans in place, we have business continuity plans. So all of this is already documentation, people. So I need to make sure that all of this is actually working when we need it. That's why we need to move to the cyber crisis readiness. We start by education and awareness about the topic. Then we can start the testing or testing the readiness. Our readiness, we can start very simple. Especially if this is the first time to build it, I would expect to start by just simple, something very simple, straightforward, tabletop exercise. It can start with something like a checklist review. Oh, do we have this communication plan? Do we have a point of contacts in these departments? Do we have playbook? Do we have this recovery plan for the system? Just a checkbox. But this will provide you with the least level of assurance. If I need to read the assurance a little bit, maybe we can act like do some sort of role play. So everyone will act like there is a crisis. We are responding to this scenario right now, and will do some role play from communications, from legal, from security, from IT, and from HR, from different teams, from communications, and from everyone. What if we need more assurance? This is not enough. So in this case, we can run something like simulated exercise. So I will keep the production environment as is, and I will go to the DR site and start not only role playing, but actually doing configuration and taking some technical measures. So doing some implementations. This can be started with something very small scope. It doesn't have to be covering everything in the business continuity plan or this recovery plan. I can just do it in phased approach. I can start with a specific system or business process, or I can make it more complex and include different processes or different systems at the same time. There is another test which you might need to consider, either to provide you with the highest level of assurance that your plans, business continuity plans, and disaster recovery plans will actually work. You can do something like full interruption test. But this is risky. Yes, it will provide you with the highest level of assurance, but still this is really risky. You need to consider that you might cause some sort of disruptions, actual incident or crisis while you test your readiness as an organization. That's why you need management approval for such a thing. And normally, I wouldn't recommend going for full interruption test unless maybe there is some sort of regulatory requirements, maybe some regulations. They will ask for this, need to be done in some industries. They are asking for this. In this case, we have to do it. Otherwise, I would be extra cautious when choosing full interruption test. Maybe simulation test, parallel test would be more than enough. Remember, like nuclear crisis happened due to full interruption test, like Chernobyl crisis mainly happened. The main initiation related to this one, they were doing full interruption test, and this led to a nuclear crisis. So we don't want to create a nuclear crisis to our business. What are the objectives for this exercise if we need to run such an exercise to test our readiness? So the first point is to simulate significant impact to the corporate system. This is not only about testing incident response plans. I'm talking about from crisis point of view. So when I choose a scenario, I need to choose something with significant impact to the organization, to put some pressure on teams, on top management, and middle management, on the technical people working on this. This is how it look like if we, in case we have such a real crisis. So this is really important. It's not something trivial. I will discuss this for the pitfalls. Some people they have somehow optimisms related to this. I need to mainly this exercise is about testing our readiness. So I'm expecting you to put some pressure. This is something significant to the business. So that from top management point of view, they know exactly what to expect in case we have such a crisis. They know exactly what kind of decisions or tough decisions they might need to take or sacrifice they might need to take. And from technical people point of view, they will know exactly what the top management is kind of information they will ask for. And we'll test our technical procedures and plans as well. Rehearse roles and responsibilities. I need to make sure that during an attack, everyone knows exactly what's expected from him. The technical people or the security team, they know exactly what's expected from them. Communications team, they know what's expected from them. The legal team, if we have customer service team or communications team or PR team, everyone knows exactly. They can rehearse and they will exercise what these tasks expected from them. I need to make sure that they understand it and they will be able to perform it. Understand what would or wouldn't be prepared to switch off to contain an attack. So in case we have such a major incident, so we need to know exactly what kind of tough decisions we might need to take. So the management, especially from business point of view, this is gonna be, if we need to switch something off, yes, the security recommendation may be to bring down our online banking portal for 4 hours, for 5 hours, for 1 day. It depends, of course, on the scenario. Is the business accepting such a recommendation? So this is kind of tough decisions we will need to test during this kind of exercise. Understand ransomware attacks negotiation. If we were hit by ransomware, and believe me, that frequency related to this one, especially in Germany, I see it's really increasing. So we need to know exactly how can we negotiate in case we decided to pay. It depends. We will have a discussion later in the slides about to pay or not to pay, based on what we're supposed to structure this, to take a decision to either to pay or not to pay. Rehearse crisis communication for cyber attack. So this is another objective from this exercise. And understand our capability as an organization. So once we complete this exercise, we will sit down and have lessons learned for this one. What exactly is our capability in terms of business continuity? Did we manage to meet the business expectations? If not, why? Then we can take some corrective actions and we can improve our plans. When we have such exercise, especially for major organizations, I would expect to have someone to lead the exercise. So mostly, if you have business resilience team, they will take the lead. They will be in the leading position to do the organization, initiate the communication, coordination, and meetings, and all of this. And in some other organizations, they don't have a dedicated business resilience team. Maybe a consultant can take the role, or even some organizations, I saw this, the security department will take the lead in this exercise. Then we divide the organization mainly into gold team, silver team, bronze team. The gold team, this is the strategic one. They are more concerned about what exactly are we going to do. The silver team, we're talking here about the middle management mainly. How are we going to do it? And the bronze team is mainly about the execution part. Do it. If we are talking about multinational big organizations, we might need to have localized versions of these teams. Localized gold team, localized silver team, bronze team. Gold team, mainly the strategic people, mainly will be the CEO, the CFO, the chief operating officer, the CISO, the CIO. So those are the main members for the gold team. Silver team is mainly the middle management, and bronze team, this is actually people working on responding to this crisis. Can be the security team, SOC team, or incident response team, people from legal, from data protection officer, maybe compliance team, HR, communications team, different team members will support this. For small, medium-sized organizations, we don't need to have such big teams. Maybe just a bronze team and a gold team. So the gold and silver can be in one, and bronze team mainly this is the operational part. This is for a small, medium-sized business. What exactly is expected from everyone? Crisis management, mainly team will initiate the exercise, will do the high-level coordination in terms of the timing. Let's say we need to perform this exercise. This is the scenario. For instance, ransomware attack. We were hit by a major ransomware attack, which encrypted all of our customer databases. So it's no longer accessible, and we're not able to perform any business. So this is gonna be for 24 hours exercise, 48 hours exercise. Timeline, who's supposed to be involved during this exercise? Especially, I need to identify the people who are supposed to be involved in such exercise. It's not supposed to be the whole organization. And we need to highlight this is supposed to be an exercise, not a real incident or real crisis. People, they need to be aware of this. Record observations for improvements. So the crisis management team or the business resilience team lead in this case will take some observations during the exercise. This is, we had these observations. Maybe something related to outdated procedures, maybe a lack of collaboration between teams, delays in taking decisions or cascading the information to top management or the other way around. So they will take some observations. We will discuss these observations in the lessons learned. Once we complete the exercise, we will discuss all observations so that we can have some sort of action plan how we can improve our capabilities. The goal team, this is mainly overall strategic command. They will take the critical and tough decisions and set the business priorities during crisis mode. The silver team will be the liaison between the gold and the bronze. So they will escalate to the gold. They will respond to all inquiries coming from the gold and communicate all decisions, business priorities, directions, everything will communicate it to the bronze team. And they will provide some recommendations to the gold team based on the input coming from the bronze team. Bronze team, this is the team on ground, mainly managing the comms, responding, taking some of the technical actions, doing the actual coordinations, collecting data, doing the analysis, root cause analysis, eradication, taking the recovery actions, fixing the problem mainly. This is mainly the bronze team. If you are thinking about performing such a cyber crisis exercise readiness test for your organization, you can use something like CISA, the American Cyber Agency. They have some already. If you go to CISA cyber crisis scenario, you can scan the QR code or just write down on Google CISA cyber crisis scenarios. They have some recommended cyber scenarios and templates and step-by-step how to create and navigate such a cyber crisis scenario for your organization. You can use it as a reference for you to build your own cyber crisis exercises or how to structure it mainly. Because the scenario itself will be somehow relevant to the risks posed to your organization. During such a scenario, during this exercise, let's say this business resilience team, they will take something like ransomware attack. We were hit by a major ransomware attack, which paralyzed us as a business from business point of view. So during this crisis and responding to this crisis, we need to know exactly what exactly are we supposed to do or focus on. So we'll use SPACE methodology for this one. We'll focus on situation, what exactly is going on, and priorities, what are the objectives, and actions, what shall we do, and comms, who's supposed to be involved, informed, notified, and evaluate where do we stand. So let's start with the first one, situation, live response situation. The situation, the management mainly, they need to understand what exactly is the impact on business. Yes, we're hit by a ransomware attack. What exactly is the magnitude of this impact? So the CISO in this case, the Chief Information Security Officer, will take the lead into providing some regular updates about this is the current situation. This is what we know exactly right now. These are the actions we completed, and this is the ongoing actions. So you need, and next, what's expected to be next action. So completed actions, this is what we know. This is what we are doing right now, and this is what's next, what we're expected to do next. We need to communicate this to the top management. And link this to the business impact. Assess, let's say the online banking system is down. The CRM is down. Our dealer's system or application is down. From business point of view, Yes, this is from system point of view. From business point of view, what exactly is the impact on business? So we need to translate this into something the business can understand, maybe a specific figures, numbers. Oh, due to this dealer's application is down, normally you are expecting, for instance, this amount of revenue per hour or per day, and this is the expected potential loss. So we can provide something like that. What do we know about the attacker right now? Of course, there will be some more information throughout the exercise. Is this a targeted attack, or we're part of a wider type of attack? Maybe this is some sort of attack on all business running in a specific industry, or a specific country, or a specific region. So we need to understand all the aspects related to the attack. From legal point of view, what's our legal position? So do we have anything? Do we need to notify regulators? Do we need to notify any authorities? Do we need to notify law enforcement? If they're in it, let's say it's something related to the personal identifiable information. This means, according to GDPR, we need to notify our data protection authorities within 72 hours without undue delay. So we need to know exactly from legal, from regulatory point of view, what's our position, who do we need to notify, and our insurance position. Insurance position, I will focus here mainly on the cyber-related insurance. For the most of the organizations having cybersecurity insurance, mainly the cybersecurity insurance wants compensate you, or at least this is for the most organizations I saw, they won't be compensated for the financial losses or any fines coming from the regulator due to this crisis. They will focus mainly on supporting you for to pay off for your efforts in order to respond to such an attack. Let's say if we need to hire a consultant, forensic investigator, security consultant. We need someone to do support the investigation. We need maybe someone with subject matter expert in a specific area or domain in IT or technology or security. They will pay for this cost, or some organizations, they have their own teams. You can use these resources in case you have such a major incident or a crisis. From technology point of view, I need to know what are the impacted systems. Do we need to isolate or shut down or to take some actions? So this is mainly the management who will need to know that. Do we need to take some actions? Do we need to approve something? And disaster recovery plans. I'm expecting already, once we declare that there is a crisis, already someone in the organization with the right level, let's say COO or CIO, took the decision, we need to activate this disaster recovery plan. So I need to know the status related to this one. Where do we stand right now? So are we on track? Are we lagging related to this? Are we leading? So I need to know where do we stand so that we can report it to the top management. And if there is any recommendations coming from the silver team. This is from situation point of view. From priorities point of view, during such a crisis, we need to know exactly what exactly is the business priorities. We need to focus on the business priorities. So strategic intent, what does success look like in the current situation from management point of view? I need to know what exactly are my priorities in terms of maybe customers, people, third parties working with us like suppliers, vendors, contractors. I need to know the management need to set the priorities so that these priorities will be cascaded and will inform the silver and the bronze team with these priorities so that they know exactly what kind of actions based on these priorities we need to take. So what are we supposed to do next? Okay, so this is from situation point of view, from impact and from priorities, and from communications point of view. During crisis, communication is really an essential pillar we need to take care of. So that's why we need to know from business point of view, business communications. Do we need to notify shareholders, investors, any of our partners? Maybe they might be impacted as well. Do we need to send internal communications to our team? This is something we need to know. Do we need to notify the regulator or law enforcement or authorities? Do we need to send something to the media? Maybe there's something major. This is a major incident. And we know that mostly the media or people will know about it. So the sooner we issue some sort of a statement in order to control the narrative. If we just delay it, the announcement or putting some sort of press release or something on our social media accounts or website or something, there will be a lot of rumors around it. So if we're sure, or there is a higher probability that the media will know about it, so it's better to control the narrative. And who's supposed to do such communications? Maybe communications to our customers. Maybe we have dedicated communications team. What communication channels should we have? So I'm expecting the communications team during the preparation phase, they have some sort of communication plan. This is how can we reach our customers? We can send emails, letters, SMS. This is how can we reach the media. This is how can we reach the regulator, law enforcement. We know exactly who are the interested parties and the right communication channel in order to use. And who's supposed to be responsible and accountable for such taking the lead in the comms? We need to know. If we need to speak to the media or who's supposed to be our public face, we need to agree on this. During this, let's say for such a scenario it's a ransomware attack. So I need to know from, should we pay the ransom? Based on what? This is not supposed to be an emotional decision. So we need to have some sort of structured way to say that, yes, we have to pay, or no, our decision is no, we won't pay. Based on what? So these are some sort of 4 factors you need to consider. It will help you to answer such a decision, mainly from data point of view, from impact point of view, from legal and cost point of view. From data point of view, if the data, we need to answer this. The data exfiltrated. Is it encrypted? Is it in clear text? In order to know, I need to know this. Does this include any sensitive data or confidential data? From impact, are business critical systems down right now? Can we resume operations from backup from what we have right now? From legal point of view, do we have any legal constraints? Maybe in some countries, they have some sort of federal laws about you're not supposed to pay ransom. So do we have any legal constraints if we decided to go ahead with payment? And from cost point of view as well, can we afford to pay? And does the attacker cost us more than the ransom? Then we will decide. Based on answering, we need to answer these questions first, and then maybe we'll decide we're not supposed to pay. No, we'll focus our efforts everyone right now, all hands on deck, mainly to restore the operations. We have what we need in order to restore operations, and will be our main focus. Maybe another decision is we need to pay. So we need someone to lead and start this ransom negotiation. But you need to remember there is no guarantee related to this one. I need to highlight just, speaking of this, a friend called me, he's a doctor, last week here in Germany, in the hospital he's working here, in a hospital here in Germany, he told me that they were hit by ransomware and encrypted everything, all of their medical records, and they were not able to do anything, and they had to pay. Then the attacker, he didn't send the decryption keys. So there is no guarantee. He was just asking for some sort of advice. What shall we do about this one? So there is always no guarantee that you will receive the decryption keys after you pay. Mostly for this scenario, for this hospital, mostly the attacker will try send an email, ask for more money or something. If they paid the first time, maybe he will just read the money and ask for more money. So there is no guarantees. While you perform such an exercise, you need to watch out for some pitfalls. The crisis leads optimism bias. So this is mainly about exercising some sort of pressure on everyone. This is a crisis. This is not a normal incident. So this is a worst case. It might happen. What exactly are we expecting during this one? What tough decisions we need to make? This is something we need to consider. The size of the team can be a challenge during such an exercise. If we're talking about big multinational organization, you might have tens or hundreds of people. I once attended exercise with hundreds of people attending. So managing this and the logistics related to this is really tough. Inconsistent team meeting structures or insufficient communications. Sometimes also failure to explicitly define what exactly does success look like. And lack of clarity on decision making. This is another pitfall. Another thing is the collaboration. This is really an important point. Collaboration between teams. So we have specific people participating in this exercise. So these people are working, they have day-to-day operations. Let's say people from IT, from legal, from maybe suppliers or vendors. Some people, If they know this is just an exercise, it's not a real crisis, so maybe they will set other priorities, they will take care of other priorities from business point of view. This is not a priority, so maybe they will not answering you on time, and this exercise is supposed to be done within a specific timeline. So this is for them anything you asking for, or a piece of information or actions to take, maybe it will be delayed. So the lack of collaboration and might be a problem during such an exercise. Ignoring the media, yes, it's supposed to be an exercise. But what if this is a real world scenario? We need to make sure that we are already testing the readiness in terms of speaking, in terms of communications. Do we have someone already assigned? He knows exactly in such a scenario what's supposed to be done in terms of communications. Do we have drafted something in terms of for media or press release or a message to our customers? We need to actually do it and send it for review by security, by legal, approval from top management. We need to actually not just ignore it. No, this is not a real world scenario. We're not actually in a crisis mode. This is just an exercise. No, we need to address all aspects related to the crisis. What does a good exercise look like? So good collaboration between teams. Decisions are made in a timely manner. We need to respond and recover within agreed time period, like the RTO, merely agreed. If we manage to recover and respond, but we exceeded the agreed or predefined RTOs set by the business and service delivery objectives set by the business, still you failed. So this is an important point. Effective and timely manner comms, clear and consistent inputs, and clearly explaining risks. If we have a specific system, yes, it's down. Maybe we need to translate this when we communicate to the top management. We need to speak their language. We need to translate this impact on this system from business point of view. This means what? Or this is impacting what specific business process? And restoring the business operations in a timely manner. Once we do all of this, we need to sit and have some sort of review session. What did we do right? What did we do wrong during the exercise? How can we improve? We need to answer those three questions. What did we do right? What did we do wrong? And how can we improve? How can we take these findings, observations during the exercise in order to improve our business continuity and disaster recovery capabilities? Okay, I hope I managed to cover a few aspects related to preparing yourself for a cyber crisis and how to get ready. Matthias, if you have any questions for me.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ahmed. It was really inspiring. So thanks for talking us through. So I just posted as well in the in the chat that so it's now the Q&A session. So please post your questions to me. And given that we are a smaller number of participants today, I've also activated the function that you should be able to unmute yourself and ask question to Ahmed directly. So I just invite everyone who's got a question to unmute and ask a question directly to Ahmed. I actually hope I did the right thing.
Okay. Or if someone posted something, we can check it. It's fine. I'm not sure. Do you have anything in the chat? I don't have anything.
No, but I wasn't sure if someone has maybe posted it to you directly.
Oh, I don't.
Okay. Yeah. I mean,
it's clear. Yeah.
Yeah. So a question for myself. So, I mean, this is a very relevant topic that we are all faced in our organizations that we work in. Can as you're working with as a consultant, can you share some more like war stories about elements of good that you have seen, but also elements that have really gotten wrong?
For real world one or for the exercise point of view?
The two of you, because hopefully you have not seen things really going wrong in the real life. But I mean, as you go through the testing of such scenarios, things hopefully get discovered in there, and you've seen some examples from there.
Yeah, from testing point of view, the worst I have seen from real world point of view is the organization paid the ransom and the attacker didn't send the decryption keys. This is the worst case you can ever imagine. So even if as an organization we're willing to pay the ransom, but the attackers didn't send the decryption keys, this is the worst scenario we can ever face. This is from real world point of view. From exercise point of view, I always see that the biggest problem I have always seen is the collaboration between teams, especially if we're talking about big organizations. So always big organizations, they have territories, local territories in different countries, collaboration between teams, between countries. There is always some sort of politics, we can say. Other priorities, each territory or each team, they have their own priorities. They are really not really committed to the exercise or committed to the timeline we set, we prepared, and we agreed upon. This is always a challenge. A problem in the communications in terms of either it's being delayed, the communication is not on time, the communication is not delaying, or it's not clear. You need to make sure that you need to know exactly the target audience for this communication and what kind of message you need to communicate. Otherwise, there will be a lot of follow-up questions related to this communications, and they will somehow waste your time. You're not merely focusing on the restoration and making sure that everything, the plans is working. No, just answering questions from management, from middle management, from technical people, from different departments. So we need to be clear about this one. Another thing is, this is something, it's really important. Sometimes people, especially technical managers, you see some sort of resistance. This kind of scenario, during the exercise, no, we would never have such a scenario. They are just resisting such we wouldn't never have such an impact in the business. They are not able to imagine it might be a worst case scenario can happen. So somehow I don't expect to have such an impact. Maybe the magnitude of the impact may be very limited. They are not able, they are missing the point from the exercise, which is mainly this is something major. It's a crisis. It's not just a small incident we are dealing with. So from this perspective, we need to make sure that it's a crisis. So we need to put some sort of pressure. We need to think about this is the worst case scenario that might happen to the organization, so that we can get the attention from the top management, and the top management will know exactly what's expected from them, what kind of tough decisions they might need to take. This is a really important point. Otherwise, you're missing the point from having the exercise, cyber crisis exercise.
Okay, thanks, Hamid. So a question has come through. So how important is it to organize the response team in gold, silver, and bronze divisions for the success of the disaster recovery?
I would say it's really important if we're talking about big multinational organizations, big corporations. But if we're talking about smaller scale, small, medium-sized business, I would say the incident response team, mainly the team manager or the lead, he will take care of this. And there will be another group mainly for gold. We don't need for a small, medium-sized business to have 3 different teams. Mostly we'll have the incident response team as a bronze team, taking care of everything, and another team, mainly gold team for top management, to make sure that the CISO or the lead who's leading this, or the head of information security, providing updates to the management, sending updates. This is where we stand. This is where I need your recommendation. This is kind of decisions I need you to make. Then cascade this to the incident response team. But for big organizations, yes, we need this gold, silver, bronze, mainly to organize and make sure that the communication is easier. Everyone knows what's expected from him.
Okay, thanks. Next question. So what's the response to a ransomware attack you see the most in the industry? Is it pay or not to pay? I have always heard that it's better to never pay, and this is what I have always seen in real cases.
From just sitting here right now in my chair and say that you're not supposed to pay, it's a really easy talk. But when you're in this situation as a business and you don't have the capability to recover, you didn't take backup, or the backup is already encrypted. You don't have measures in place how to restore operations again. So it's going to be a tough decision, and mostly you will go with payment. This is at least what I saw. But I can just say, you're not supposed to pay. Yes, it's easy decision for me. I don't have any accountability, responsibility. sitting here on my chair. But from business point of view, that's why I said I gave the guideline. You need to consider what kind of data exactly exfiltrated. Do we have the capability in place in order to restore operation? This is an essential part. Do we have capability? Do we have backup? Do we have procedures? And can we restore it? If this is the case, yes, I would recommend not to pay. Of course, I need to consider any legal aspect of it.
Yeah, and I remember when we had the keynote at the last GSC Congress with ISACA, the keynote was given by Carsten Maywert, who's the head of the Federal Police of the Cyber Division, and he said that, of course, companies are supposed to contact them to get support of what they can do and how they can possibly explore options to recover. And larger organizations might be better prepared than smaller ones, but he said it's very clear that like smaller organizations which have lower spend on technology and making their environment more resilient is really difficult. And there is probably a relatively high dark number of smaller, medium-sized enterprises which are just hit. They have no option. They will pay and hope actually to get away and not being kind of drawn into like a double extortion that will just continue to ask money for not releasing maybe some sensitive data they have been able to leak before they were successfully doing the ransomware attack. So it's a really tough thing to do. I mean, we have seen as well in the past big cases like the Maersk one where they completely rebuilt everything, but they accepted that the business was more or less standing still. It was a really tough decision, I think, when you come in the morning and nothing works anymore, what to do and what to make.
Especially for critical infrastructure, for critical services, for something dealing with the public, it's really important to consider. It's at the end, it's a business decision, but from security point of view, you as a security expert, you're supposed to provide your recommendation. So this is the current situation. You need to do exactly so that the management can take decisions based on informed data mainly.
Okay, excellent. So we're coming to the end of the session. So please, again, a warm thank you to you, Ahmed, and to you, Somaye, for getting us through the Cybersecurity Month with ISACA. It's been one of the multiple initiatives that you, as part of the young professionals, have been able to put up, and I'm really, really pleased, and thank you for that. So again, a warm invite as well for our November event, which will be posted on the website shortly. And some of you I will see as well as part of the IT GSC Congress beginning of November in Munich.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thanks.
Thank you,
Thank you for your
everyone.
time. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.